Good morning, everyone. Today, I am going to tell you about the history of clinical trials and welcome you all into my YouTube channel. Clinical trial is the very important aspect in the process of drug discovery and the drug discovery and drug development, and also for the checking of safety and the efficacy of the drug. So first, we get to know about what is a clinical trial. So the clinical trial is any research in the on the group of participants to check the safety and efficacy of the new drugs. So the clinical trial are conducted on the humans, and clinical trial is the process which is conducted after the preclinical trials. So the history of clinical trial is mainly starts in the 1743, in the year 1743. So in 1743, the Dr. James Lind uh, conducted a trial or the control trial for the disease known as the scurvy. So the Dr. James Lind, known as the father of a clinical trial, he conducted his clinical trial on the scurvy on the ship where he worked. Then in 1800 uh, 800s 1800s years, there is a placebo trials which is conducted on the people to gain the better experience. And in 1937, there is the 1937 there is a Federal Food and Drug Cosmetic Act, which was passed after the sulfanilamide tragedy, and to check the safety and efficacy of the drug which are comes in the market. Then in 1963, there is also uh, the trial which is known as the trial uh, double blindness trial. And this is the clinical trials which are checked for safety and efficacy of drug which when administered by a patient or any volunteers. Then the firstly the clinical trial conducted during the World War II. The Nazis forced the prisoners to conduct the clinical trials, and many of the people died due to the forced clinical trials. After this death of many people, the consent is comes into existence during the clinical trials. Then also the clinical trials are divided into the four phases, that is the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 and phase 4. Phase 1 is the pharmacological informative phase. Then phase 2 is the dose related phase and safety related phase. Then phase 3 is the confirmatory phase, and phase 4 is the post marketing surveillance, which is done after the drug comes into the market. So the clinical trial is a very important aspect to develop or launched any drug into the market. The clinical trial is a compulsory. So the clinical trial in today's life or in today's century, the uh, clinical trial is a must to every pharmaceutical company before launch the any drug into the market. And there is a strict monitoring, and monitoring on the clinical trials takes place to reduce the toxicity and to prevent the toxicity and any adverse event from that drug. So this is all about the history of clinical trials. Thank you, and like and subscribe my channel.